So let's talk about what a permit to proceed is, also known as the Coast Guard 948 form, proceed to another port for repairs. And this could be required for a towing vessel that is no longer in compliance with its COI. Could be a marine casualty as defined by NAVIC 015, which is a casualty that affects essential systems, including a reduction in loss of propulsion, steering, electrical power. May also be damage to the vessel that affects its seaworthiness or the vessel's suitability for route and service. This can also include a failure to comply with regulations and the approved TSMS. The PTP process allows us to identify the condition or conditions and any control actions that would allow the vessel to safely transit to the alternate or a alternate location for repairs. 136.240 is our reference for that site, and it provides our guidance and offers us two paths to meet the standards in accordance with your TSMS. So the first path would be for a TSMS that does not specifically identify what the nonconformity or noncompliance is, but provides you with reporting procedures to the Coast Guard and to TVIB as your TPO. The second is for a vessel that has taken their TSMS, identified a specific noncompliance or casualty, provided corrective action and steps, and has incorporated that into their TSMS so that there's a path to follow. And we'll go through each one of those and make sure everything is good. First, let's talk about the requirements for a vessel whose TSMS does not specifically address the conditions being met or the control actions that will allow for a safe transit. The request for permission to proceed must be made electronically, in writing or verbally, must provide a written description, damage, survey, or documentation to assist with the determining of the nature and seriousness of the condition. And this can be provided to TVIB or the OCMI duty marine inspector upon request. Remember, at this point, the OCMI may require an inspection of the vessel prior to proceeding any further to establish just the extent of the casualty or the noncompliance. They can also utilize a TPO surveyor to meet this. At this point, once they've made the determination and are aware of the conditions, a transit plan may be requested. The vessel's ability to tow will be determined by the OCMI. We do understand that towing sometimes is actually a safer option than light boat, and we want to make sure when we are conveying this information to the OCMI that that's our request and that's our intent. Once this information's been provided, the CG 948 permit to proceed to another port for repairs, a letter with transit conditions, or a CG 835 may be issued. Now, the letter with transit conditions or the CG 835 is normally utilized if the vessel is not going to be transiting into another OCMI zone. If it's going to be transiting zones, then a lot of the time you'll see the permit to proceed or the 948 issued. Any zones that are going to be transited through must be notified that the vessel is going to be coming through their zone. Once it has reached its final destination, that they may be requested to assist with verification of repairs. Here we've just provided a timeline that reiterates or just makes it easier to reference the information that we just discussed. So now let's dive into a TSMS that specifically identifies the condition and required actions under which the vessel may safely proceed to another port for permanent repairs. First, we want to make sure that the owner, managing operator, and the master make the determination that if the rest of this is addressed, all these actions are taken, that the trip can be made safely. We want to identify that the company's TSMS specifically addresses the affected condition and how to manage the condition to allow for the vessel to safely proceed. You still need to make notification to the cognizant OCMI and TVIB prior to the vessel proceeding. So just because the TSMS articulates that this is the condition and this is how we're going to handle it, we still need to make that notification to the OCMI that we have a reportable marine casualty in accordance with NAVIC 0115 or a condition that makes the vessel unsafe or not in compliance with the COI. Vessel proceeds in accordance with the company's TSMS if a condition and required actions are specifically addressed. OCMI for all zones that will be transited must be notified. Don't assume that the Coast Guard is going to make these notifications. The CFR actually requires that the vessel makes those notifications. Remember that the vessel is not allowed to tow while proceeding unless the owner or managing operator and the vessel master determine that it is safe to do so and beneficial for the safe transit of the vessel. Again, just another worksheet timeline to help with everything and just help facilitate your decisions and help you work through the checklist.